and everyone's favourite frog spawn impersonator, chia seeds. Are you waking up just as tired as when you went to bed and then dragging yourself through the day too tired to cook or exercise? In this video, we'll unpack why so many midlife women feel tired all the time, and I'll share 3 science-backed daily habits that can help. No weird supplements, just realistic habits for busy women. I've also created a downloadable cheat sheet, more on that later. Firstly, hi, I'm Ruth, retired doctor turned health coach, and as ever, this video is for information, perhaps a little entertainment. It's not medical advice. So before we jump into what to do, let's look at why low energy is so common. So number 1, mood shifts. Now the menopause transition has got a lot to answer for, and that includes fatigue. Now estrogen interacts with a couple of neurotransmitters, so that's brain chemicals. Firstly, dopamine, which is responsible for drive and habit formation and reward. And secondly, serotonin, which influences mood. So this combination can really sap your motivation and indeed your life force. So if you've been blaming yourself and calling yourself lazy, stop. Just stop right now, because it's not you. Secondly, loss of muscle. So muscle mass and strength both decline as we get older. And it's not specifically the menopause, because it happens to men too. And obviously with that loss of strength, we tire more easily. Thirdly, poor sleep. So menopause messes with our sleep in a couple of ways. So firstly, estrogen and progesterone interact with melatonin, so that's the sleep hormone. And secondly, as you know, it can cause some fluctuation and changes in your body temperature control. So you get those hot flushes or hot flashes and night sweats. You know, waking up at 3 a.m. like your body is actually on fire. If you know, you know. And when we do sleep, we get less of the restorative non-REM sleep, and that's when our body repairs itself overnight, and that naturally decreases as we age. Number 4, nutrition and hydration gaps. Now my husband laughs at me because he thinks that I'm convinced that 75% of life's problems are caused by dehydration. And it's a bit of an over-exaggeration, but equally, most of us aren't drinking enough, so more of that later. And it's really important to make sure we're getting a balanced diet, so we're getting all of our micronutrients, that's vitamins and minerals. And the commonest deficiencies which lead to tiredness are vitamin D, calcium and iron. So habit number 1, do you ever find yourself starving hungry mid-morning and reaching for the cookies and coffee to keep going? Well, it could be that you need to upgrade your breakfast. Now, what we eat for breakfast influences how we feel for the rest of the day. So if you're starting your day with some refined carbohydrate, think sugary breakfast cereals or pastries, you're going to get that hit of energy, potentially followed by a slump. Now, I'm not saying don't eat them. I mean, I, for one, am on a one-woman mission to find the best almond croissant in Europe. So if you know where that is, please let me know. So far, randomly, the best I've found was in Tenerife. Now, there are more nutritious choices. So what you need to think about for getting good satisfaction from your meal is a mixture of protein, some fibre-containing whole grains, and some healthy fats. Protein is the most satisfying of the 3 macronutrients, so habit number 1 is to have some protein with your breakfast. And I've come down into my kitchen so I can do a bit of a show and tell, so apologies for the slight echo. So I've got some really good examples of protein with me. So firstly, I've got Greek yogurt. This for 150 gram serving, which is about 2/3 of a cup, that's got about 15 grams of protein in it. Then secondly, we've got cottage cheese. I know reminds you of your mum in the 80s. That's about 14.5 grams per 150 grams, or 2/3 of a cup. Now I use mine, I make a cottage cheese pancake recipe. So if you'd like it, let me know and I can share it in a community post. Then we've got the mighty egg. So each egg has got 6 grams of protein in. So 2 to 3 eggs makes a really good breakfast, either as an omelette or scrambled. Now, if you're dairy and egg free, you can try soya in the form of tofu. So a tofu scramble or some soya yogurt. And tofu really packs a protein punch. It's got about 16.5 grams per 100 gram serving. And finally, if you really want to add a little boost, you can include some seeds, because they're going to give you a little bit more protein and also some of those good fats. So I've got a few here. So these are hemp seed hearts. We've got some ground flaxseed and everyone's favourite frog spawn impersonator, chia seeds. So all of those are really good added to some oatmeal or porridge or some overnight oats. You can also use them in a smoothie. And back to the office. Now, if you're really pushed for time, making some overnight oats or a Bersham muesli with some yogurt is a really good make-ahead option. And if you're a toast fiend, try picking a whole grain variety and then adding in some nut butter or some eggs to increase the satisfaction factor. If you're finding this video helpful in any way, I'd be really grateful if you could give it the thumbs up, subscribe, or even share with a friend. Tell the YouTube algorithm I'm a decent human being and help me grow my small channel. So habit number 2 and a question. What are 2 of the biggest energy thieves? And I'll give you a clue, I'm sitting on one. So chairs and desks. So even if we regularly exercise, if we're sitting for long periods all day, then we are risking our long-term health because our risk for chronic disease goes up, including heart disease. Now, the solution is something called NEAT. So nailing your NEAT. So that stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And it's basically the calories we burn doing the activities of day-to-day life. Research shows that regular breaks throughout the day, breaking up that prolonged sitting, decreases the amount of circulating glucose and triglycerides in our blood, so that's sugar and fats. And taking lots of little breaks is actually better than one big break. And there's also some work showing that regular breaks decrease our food cravings and improve our mood and perceived energy levels. So think of it like winding your energy spring throughout the day. So habit number 2 is to take some micro breaks throughout your day. So stand up, ideally every hour or every couple of hours, walk on the spot, move around, do some calf raises, whatever you fancy or feel comfortable doing in your environment. If you have one, as I do, you can try a standing desk. Now, when you get engrossed in a task, it's really easy to forget. So if you're anything like me, you need a reminder. So I set an alarm on my phone. So habit number 3, even mild dehydration can sap our energy and our mood. And every cell in your body needs water. And that includes the contents of the cell, like the mitochondria. Now think of these as like your little batteries. They're constantly producing energy like little powerhouses. So when I planned this video, I thought, well, can I really talk about hydration? Is it not just a bit basic to be going, hey, drink more water on a video? And if everyone did it, then obviously I wouldn't need to. But we don't do it, and that includes me, and I know how important it is, and I still don't do it when I'm busy. And I'm not alone. If you look at some statistics, apparently 17 to 28% of older Americans are dehydrated. So habit number 3 is hydration. So a hydration challenge. So what I would aim to do, what I do, is aim for 200 to 250 mils, that's about 8 ounces of water every hour for about 8 hours. Or if you prefer, 8 glasses of water throughout the day. Now, obviously, if you've been told by your doctor to be on water restriction, then obviously listen to your doctor. Don't listen to some random woman on the internet. But if there's no problem for you drinking water and you don't drink enough, give it a go. Now, if you find water a little bit boring, then you can try flavouring it with a slice of lemon or orange or some fresh mint. And if you want to monitor your hydration through the day, slightly gross, but look at the colour of your pee. I have props. So it should be a nice kind of pale yellow. And if it starts to resemble some orange Fanta, then drink some more water, not preferably the orange Fanta. My other top tip is to keep a water bottle on your desk. Now, I have become victim to the Stanley Cup trend, but it genuinely really does help me to get my water in during the day. Try these habits for a week and let me know how you get on, particularly how you feel. Now, to try and make your life a bit easier, I've created a downloadable cheat sheet explaining about the 3 habits, and I've included a 7-day tickable habit tracker. So you can print it off and stick it on your fridge, preferably with the tackiest fridge magnet you own. I'll put a link in below in the description, and I will attempt to put a QR code on the screen. Now, when you download it, you'll notice there's a box to tick. If you tick that box, it's going to put you onto my newsletter list. Now, I send a newsletter every Friday morning where I either take a deeper dive into one of the topics I've covered in this week's video, or I share some additional or interesting insights. What I don't do is any high pressure salesy stuff or send spam. It's just me being me. Now, next up, in what's going to be a short series all about energy, I'm going to be covering energy boosting foods and sleep tips. So when the next video is ready, you'll find it here. In the meantime, here I will share a video about sticking to healthy habits, and I'll see you there.